Story 1. The Forest's Curse. Camping had always been my escape, a chance to disconnect from the chaos of daily life and reconnect with nature. Little did I know that one fateful camping trip would lead to a nightmare that would haunt me forever. My friends and I had chosen a remote forest for our adventure, a place untouched by civilization. As we set up our campsite, the air grew thick with an eerie silence, and the trees seemed to watch us with a malevolent presence. That night, as we sat around the campfire, strange things began to happen. Shadows danced among the trees, and we heard the eerie sound of whispers carried on the wind. We brushed it off as mere imagination, attributing it to the isolation of the forest. As the night wore on, we heard something far more unsettling, the sound of children's laughter echoing through the woods. It was impossible, as we were miles away from civilization. We ventured deeper into the forest, following the laughter. We stumbled upon an abandoned cabin hidden among the trees. It was dilapidated, with broken windows and a crumbling roof. Inside, we discovered a room filled with eerie children's drawings, all depicting scenes of darkness and despair. As we explored further, we were horrified to find a journal, its pages filled with the accounts of past campers who had ventured into the forest. They spoke of a malevolent entity that haunted the woods, a curse that could never be escaped. Panic set in as we realized that we were not alone in the cabin. The children's laughter grew louder, and we saw their shadowy figures darting among the trees. They were not living children, but spectral apparitions, trapped in the forest for eternity. Desperation overtook us as we tried to flee, but the forest seemed to come alive, its trees closing in around us. The children's laughter grew more sinister, their voices taunting us. Just when we thought all hope was lost, we managed to break free and fled from the forest. As we drove away, the cabin and the malevolent presence disappeared into the night, as if they had never existed. To this day, I can't forget the horrors we witnessed during that camping trip. The memory of that night haunts me, a chilling reminder that the wilderness can hold secrets far darker than we can imagine. Story 2. The Campsite's Curse. I had always been an avid camper, seeking solace in the tranquility of the great outdoors. But one camping trip would turn my love for nature into a chilling ordeal that would stay with me forever. My destination was a remote campsite nestled deep in the wilderness, far away from civilization. It was a place of unparalleled beauty, with towering trees and a crystal-clear river. But as I set up my campsite, an unsettling feeling washed over me. As night fell, I heard the sound of footsteps in the darkness. I dismissed it as a product of my overactive imagination, attributing it to the solitude of the wilderness. But the footsteps grew louder, and the air grew thick with an oppressive silence. I ventured out of my tent, flashlight in hand, to investigate. To my horror, I discovered a group of spectral figures surrounding my campfire. They were shrouded in darkness, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The figures spoke in hushed, eerie whispers, their words incomprehensible. Panic surged through me as I realized that I was not alone in the wilderness. These were not living beings, but malevolent spirits that had taken an interest in my campsite. Desperation set in as I tried to flee, but the spirits seemed to have me trapped. The trees closed in around me, their branches twisting and contorting as if under the control of an otherworldly force. The spirits drew nearer, their presence growing more sinister. They whispered my name, promising to claim my soul. It was as if I had stumbled upon a cursed campsite, a place where the spirits of the dead sought to ensnare the living. Just when I thought all hope was lost, a brilliant light pierced the darkness, and the spirits vanished into thin air. I stumbled out of the campsite, shaken and terrified, vowing never to return. To this day, I can't forget the horrors I witnessed during that camping trip. The memory of that night haunts me, a chilling reminder that the wilderness can hold secrets far darker than we can imagine. Story 3. The Ritual in the Woods. Camping had always been a way for me to escape the stress of daily life and reconnect with nature. But one camping trip would lead to an encounter with the supernatural that would change my life forever. My friends and I had chosen a remote forest as our camping destination, a place untouched by civilization. As we set up our campsite, an eerie silence settled over the area, and the air grew thick with an unnatural stillness. That night, as we sat around the campfire, strange things began to happen. The flames flickered wildly, casting eerie shadows on the trees. We heard the sound of drums in the distance, an eerie, rhythmic beat that seemed to come from deep within the forest. Curiosity got the better of us, and we decided to investigate. We followed the sound of the drums deeper into the forest until we stumbled upon a clearing. There, we witnessed a chilling sight, an eerie ritual being performed by a group of hooded figures. The figures chanted in an incomprehensible language, their voices filled with a sinister energy. They moved in a synchronized dance, their movements unnatural and unsettling. It was as if they were summoning an otherworldly presence. Panic set in as we realized that we had stumbled upon something far more sinister than we could have imagined. We tried to flee, but the figures seemed to have us trapped, their malevolent presence closing in on us. Just when we thought all hope was lost, a brilliant light filled the clearing, and the figures vanished into thin air. We stumbled out of the forest, shaken and terrified, vowing never to return. To this day, I can't forget the horrors we witnessed during that camping trip. The memory of that night haunts me, a chilling reminder that the wilderness can hold secrets far darker than we can imagine.